welcome on this Monday night. Ben and Sarah, it's always a pleasure to talk with you and also to share your knowledge with the guys and with the umpires. I know there are also a couple international umpires from Germany joining this session, so also a warm welcome to them. But an even more warm welcome to you guys too, and thank you already for your time. Thank you for taking the time to talk and to share your knowledge and your passion with us. Sarah, if I may start with you, can you just have a short introduction of yourself? I know it's a long. The long version is also possible, but can you also just do a short introduction?
I will try my best to do a short introduction. I do like to talk a lot. First of all, I'm really amazed at how many people have signed up to tonight. We thought it was going to be a small webinar and there's already over 100 people, so that is absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm really lucky that I have been involved in international hockey for 15 years almost now. And I've done lots of different hockey, some very high level hockey like Olympics, World Cups, Europeans, Commonwealth Games, which have been fantastic, but you all have to start somewhere, right? So all sorts of hockey, different levels, different abilities. And I've enjoyed all of it, every part of it, regardless of the level.
Perfect. And yeah, Ben, you with the Olympic rings, can you tell us more about that as well?
Yeah, I have to say the same as Sarah. So thanks for every people watching this webinar. First of all, thanks Koen for the invitation and that your wake up call was at 3:30 or something like that. So that's also not normal. Probably I'm the most famous foreign umpire in the Netherlands because I think everybody knows me from the quarterfinal in India this year. I'm the guy who tried to catch the ball with the face. I can't recommend it. It's not the best thing I've done in my life. Yeah, and then obviously one of the longest video referred, I think. Me again. Yeah, I'm an international umpire since 10 years now. At World Cup, yeah, of course, Tokyo, my first Olympics. You can see it in my background. The second one is coming. And I'm in Germany, the guy with the most appointments for the Euros since this year with Michi Meister on the female side. So yeah, that is me.
And Ben, how many European championships you've umpired now?
I won my 6th and my second final.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Congrats on that achievement, Ben. It's amazing. Yeah, Ben, just to start off, as you said that you're part of history twice this year, once in the World Cup and now at your second European Championship final. And some of the questions also, how are you at the moment? Is everything okay? What's your status?
Yeah, my status is if you meet me and you don't know where you have to look, you don't see anything. Yeah, so you don't have a clue that I was a guy who was hit by the ball. So from outside it looks fine. From inside, my doctor has last week not a nice information for me because probably my nerve or my cheek will be numb for the rest of my life. So it feels like you sit 3 weeks on your hand. And that is probably destroyed, done, and will not recover. So that is not the nice thing. The next surgery will be on 3rd November, and that will be probably not the last one. So next year, one more will come, and then I hope it's done. So that is my status at the moment.
Crazy. Well, and how many surgeries you had in total so far?
So far 2, one in India.
Wow, that was a big one.
That was a big one, but not the successful one. And then a big one in Germany as well, where we have to remove everything from India and then to fix it what was not done in the correct way. And now we have probably 2 small ones that the cheek will not collapse in future, so we have to fill it. But yeah, that's a small one. What will be hopefully an easy one, half an hour deep sleep, and then 2 nights in the hospital, and then going home. Yeah.
Woo. Well, luckily you're so airy about it, but it's crazy that after all those months and weeks you're still recovering actually from it. So from our side, all the best. And it's of course it's always good to see you on the pitch. And as you said in the hockey.nl article, and the support that you got from all over the world. I think the hockey family and the umpire family is just unites in those situations, and it's a beautiful thing actually. And I know, as you told me, that you got so much support from Holland, and it strengthens you in your recovery. So that's done. So we're gonna start with the webinar, and also as the beginning of a game starts, some people asked, how do you your pre-match talk, and especially for a final, is there something different that you do normal, and what kind of pre-match talk do you had at the final, and is there any difference and any advice for the people back home, how they can do a pre-match talk? Sarah.
Well, I'm not sure how many people know this or not, but Ben and I have never actually umpired before together until the final. So, what better time to put a female on the first ever men's European final with someone she's never umpired with before. So that was really quite interesting. And actually, Koen, you and I did the semi-final a couple of days before that, and you and I had never umpired together before.
Nope.
So that's where your pre-match chat, regardless of what level, you will umpire with people that you don't know particularly well, and that's where it just becomes really important to be absolutely clear in your communication before the game. Your areas of responsibility, how you're going to work together, just so that you're on the same page and that there are no surprises in the game, and that you've got a plan B, because as we all know, sometimes you might go out there with the best plan, but the game just doesn't play out how you expected it to. And the last thing you want is to be underprepared for that. So yeah, I think, Ben, we met during the day, right? The game was later on, we met earlier on. So it was away from the pitch. It was nice and relaxed, had a coffee. And yeah, we really chatted about what we wanted to achieve in that game, which from memory, this is going back a little bit now, but we didn't want to give away anything cheaply. So no soft penalty corners, they've got to win it, they've got to play for it. And this is a final, the players are going to be really nervous. You're going to be nervous, but the players are going to be nervous. So let's just try and let them settle into the game and keep them on side, really. And I think having our meeting at that time allowed us to just let it settle in. And then we had time to think about it before the game, and it wasn't rushed. So I felt very comfortable and confident going into that game that Ben and I knew exactly what we wanted to do. And
for you, Sarah, because you did some ladies finals as well. What's the difference, or so is there any difference in the pre-match talk between the women's final or the men's final for you?
Yeah, I think it is slightly different. the last sort of few big finals I've done have been with Loreen. Loreen and I have umpired together for a number of years, and we've done a lot of really big matches together. So I absolutely know what to expect with her. It's like one brain. Doesn't mean we don't talk about it. We do still talk about it, because the ultimate mistake would be to say, we know what we're doing and we're fine, because then that's when the problems happen. So because I know Loreen so well and I know the women so well, it tends to be, okay, we kind of know what we're doing, but we want to talk about one or two little things. But I've never done such a big men's game, a men's European final. So I was kind of reliant on Ben a little bit to advise for the physicality and what sort of thing we were trying to look for, because the game is slightly different and there are different ways of umpiring it. People say it's the same game, and yes, it is. But I think we'd be lying to ourselves if we said there wasn't little differences that I think are important to acknowledge.
Yeah, so in your own approach to that final, as you say, there are small differences between the men's and the ladies' game. How did you prepare yourself for this? So not as a team, but your own mindset, your own preparation for that men's final.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of pressure on me, I think, because, again, as I said, it's the first woman to ever walk out and do a men's European final, so the eyes are on you, really. So for me, it was about remaining calm. I might have looked calm. I certainly wasn't calm. Certainly, at the end of the game, I wasn't calm. But I thought I need to just be calm. I need to give myself time to think here, and not make any big, rushed, harsh decisions that could really impact the outcome of this game. So give myself time and be nice and calm and relaxed. And fortunately, it was. So that was good.
Yeah. And for you, Ben, as in your home country, in your home stadium, close by where you live, was it also a different aspect that you also brought into the game, and during the final that there was some pressure on you, or how did you experience that one?
It was my first tournament in Germany, first and straight a big one, so no pro league or whatever. It was not this final when I had pressure. It was a mindset before the tournament starts, because when you are in your home country, you have a tournament there, especially in the area where you're living. Probably you know more than 100 people in the stadium. And whenever you are in the stadium, you walk around, you want to have a chat with friends, and it's normal that everybody who knows you is coming and say, hello, how is going on, which game you have, what are you doing? And then especially with the accident in India, the question popped up, how is it, how is going, whatever. And if you do not know the stadium, so when we came into the stadium, we entered the main pitch, and I'm always doing my warm-up on the second one. So I have to cross the whole stadium to the warm-up pitch. And that was my challenge, not lose the focus on the game what you had, because normally you have the pre-match talk in the hotel, as Sarah said, with a coffee in our lounge, or you have lunch together, you go for a walk and you talk. And then you start with the game. It's not when you came to the pitch with the first whistle. It starts hours before. And then you're focused on the game. And then there is a challenge. You have to cross all peoples. That is a little bit more free time. And you start chatting with someone who is not involved in the match. And so that was my challenge, that I can not be unpolite to say, sorry, I don't have time. Or can I find a way where we can sneak to the pitch and do my running and fitness without saying hundreds of people, hello, yeah, talking. Because I have my own routine especially on minutes, when I want to do this, when I want to do that, when I want to be back or whatever. And if someone is coming and interrupt you, so that can be, yeah, can be a challenge. So it was not only the final, I think it was the whole week. And that was the first thing two weeks before the tournament, I think we had a chat with our umpires managers. And so, and that was my challenge for this tournament, that I'm not lose focus with talking to friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So all those elements and also the right mindset in the end. So if you could have some advice for the umpires which are listening in right now, how can they approach and maybe not as big as the European Championship final, but at their own club, with the umpire that maybe, as you say yourself, didn't umpire before a game together. So how can you approach a pre-match talk, and what are the things that you always talk about with somebody that is new to you? Well, not new to you, but as an umpire new. What do you do, Ben? Any advice?
So the funny thing is, before I start, Sarah and me, we met I think 6-8 weeks before in the Pro League in the Netherlands. So I was the only man with 4 girls, and we do not umpire a match. With everybody I umpired, but not with Sarah. So the good thing is, with this Pro League before and the whole tournament in Mönchengladbach, we were probably on the same page, not in every point, but in January, the big one, we were on the same page. So if you're not umpire, or if you haven't never umpired with an umpire before, you have to identify where maybe the difference are. And what is the keys for the other one? So you have your own keys, but you have to know which key areas are important for the other one. And if you have different things, you have to bring it together, that you cannot not copy it, but you have to find a small area where you say, okay, that is what we both are interested in. So let's focus on this one, that the players have the feeling we are on the same page, on the same line, we are doing the same thing. Even if we do not agree in everything, but the players are not interested in what we are thinking. They want to have the right decision on the right time. And that is what we have to identify. How can we do it? So, for example, you have to talk about timing. So do you want to have the more advantage? Is maybe for you ball possession advantage, or is it more just ball possession and you have to give a call? What about aerials? Because area, the rule is one of the difficult one, and then where it happened on the pitch. So in which area, how can I say, in which part of the pitch you want to blow, you want to blow, or I have to blow. How can we communicate with the radios? And if you go to lower level, maybe you don't have a radio. So you have to be prepared. How can we communicate with eye contact, with a face impression or whatever? Because I can't say, Sarah, it's yours. You take it or leave it. It's my whatever. If you don't have it, you have to make very clear before the game starts. How can we communicate for 50 minutes without talking a word? So these things, I think, are the most important thing for young umpires, especially when you umpire the first time together.
Yes, and Sarah, just also maybe you can relate to the story of Ben. But were there also any differences between you guys on the pitch, or in your view on the game and the pre-match talk? And is there any difference, maybe you've experienced, between the men's and the women's game?
Oh, again, just subtle differences with, I don't know, I think normally I would just be saying, what do you need from me? What do you need from me? And what can I give you? Because we can talk about the same things like Ben's just spoken about. When the ball is in this part of the pitch, that's for you to take. If an aerial goes up, do you want me to take it? Or will you say, you when it's in the air, or will you see the colour of the player? How, Ben's right, how are you going to communicate that? And I will just normally say, what do you need from me? And I can give you that, because you have to be adaptable. And yeah, I think the men sometimes are a bit more blunt about what they want from you. They'll tell you, don't blow there, don't do it, but do this. Where the girls are like, I don't mind, you know, if what side would you like? The boys will say, you're taking the bench. Whereas the girls will say, I don't mind, what would you like? I don't mind, what would you like? You know, the guys will tell you what they want, when they want it, where they want it. But yeah, and in terms of the game in general, it's that you're able to let more things go. I'm making a big generalization here, of course.
Of course.
But from my experience, you can allow more things to go in the men's game and they will get on with it. And yeah, okay, they might be frustrated. They'll shout at you, but then it's done and they've moved on, and then they'll have an arm round you and everything's fine at halftime. Whereas the women tend to, again, general, but tend to hold on to things for a little bit longer. And they want more particular things. If the ball's not exactly where the free hit was, the guys, they get it. They know just to play and just get on with it. Whereas the girls will be so busy arguing with you that it wasn't in the right place, that the play's away and it's gone, and now they're angry about it. So yeah, more specific, I think. All
right.
Women's, I think.
All right. So if for example, if you're a lower league umpire and you're more experienced, then would you advise to ask as more experienced umpire to the less experienced umpire, what do you need from me? So he or she can talk to you and say, this is what I need from you today.
Yeah, because I think it's really important not to ever make anybody feel like they're beneath you. And you almost have to empower them and fill them with confidence. And I think that being open and honest, even in the lower leagues with someone who's less experienced, giving them that opportunity to say, I'm here to support you. We're here as a team. I'm not any better than you. And, you know, we're here in this together. And so you're bringing them up with you.
Very good advice, sir. Very good advice. Thanks. And a question from the chat. Is the video umpire also part of the pre-match talk?
Yeah, tends to be. Again, it depends on the game and on the situation, but I think normally they won't be there for the entire discussion, but certainly you'll check in with them and say, look, you know, if I send this up, let's have a chat about that. And if I come back with this, then this tends to mean this. You know, for example, if you want a yellow card, how are you going to communicate that? Are you going to say yellow card? Or are you going to say, and I would recommend a personal penalty? How do we know? So things like that can be very useful.
And during a tournament or during a season, if you collect clips from the previous games with situations that you want to talk about in the pre-match talk, like to make it more visual and to make it more understandable for everybody, is that something that you would support, or do you say don't use the video at all in the pre-match talk?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Well,
I'm not sure. I'm almost a little bit on the fence with it, because sometimes you want to just keep it simple. And by looking at clips before a game, it can maybe set you a little bit like, oh, okay, I'm not sure about that. I might go looking for it. And then all of a sudden it's kind of still in the back of your head, and you might be giving someone a yellow card when actually it's maybe not, because you're still there. That's just me personally. But I'm also a teacher, and I recognise that people learn in different ways, and some people require something visual to understand what it is that you're talking about. So.
No, yeah, and you know, and maybe this one is for Ben. You know, if you know that certain players are doing little tricks And of course, during the tournament, if you umpire them, a couple of times prior, and you know all the players, then you know exactly what they do or what they don't do. At the penalty corner, maybe they always come to you. At a free hit, do they always take straight away 5 meter distance, or do they leave the ball? Is that part of the pre-match talk, Ben?
Yeah. So if you go backwards with the clips first, I'm a guy personally who likes to watch, for example, penalty corners. If I have an umpire, a team in a tournament, and maybe 3 games are done, and I get they in the 4th games, so I say, okay, I will have a look the last games, what they are trying, what they are doing, that I can understand what they want, and maybe I can react before it happened. And yeah, if I'm not the biggest fan of telling someone, have a look to this guy because I know him, because then you influence the mind before the game start. So if it happens straight away, maybe I'm a little bit aware of it, I will let my colleague know straight away, hey, have a look, that was not 5 or whatever. And as you know me, we share the room a lot. So we discuss a lot of clips in a tournament. What we see on Coach Logic, that is our video analysis system, or what we get from other umpires, what we maybe get from our national coaches. So you are connected with your coach, I'm connected with my coach. So sometimes we get it on WhatsApp, and we share it a lot because we speak about. So that really works that we have to share with the group, or is it nonsense from coaches and they try just to influence us or whatever. So but as Sarah said, you have to be very carefully that is not the biggest monkey in your head when you go on the pitch, because then you don't see any other things. If you go to the video with passing the ball and the monkey came in, if you know that video, you miss that a guy is leaving the theater and the curtain change. So when I saw the first time this video, I missed the monkey because it was just the monkey. 5 years later, I had a tournament with this video and no one knows it. And I was a guy who know it. And straight away, yeah, there's a monkey. So I raised my hands up because the question, okay. And then the umpire's manager said, yeah, what else happened? And I think there was nothing because just the monkey. So I was waiting for the monkey and I missed that the color of the curtain changed in the background, and I missed that someone was leaving. So that can happen if you have a look to videos or clips before the game starts, because then you're looking just for this one and it never happened. But a new thing happened, what you missed because you're not focused. So that is a challenge for every umpire. I say, yes, use the video, because that is perfect to learn, but don't wait for it that it happened in your game, because then you missed every other thing what happened in 60 minutes.
Perfect. Well, nice answers, and I think it's all good advice for the people back home. Sarah, a question that was sent earlier to you guys. Which positioning do you choose in a high intensity game? And is there any difference between the men's and the ladies game?
So I would say I'll answer the second part first. The difference for me is that the men mostly, again, trying not to be too general, but the men are able to throw aerials from one end of the pitch to the other. And I've yet to see a woman be able to physically, because the physicality is different, be able to do the same. So I very quickly found out in my first couple of men's internationals that I was standing too far in the other half, and the guys were throwing aerials. And as soon as the aerial went up, I thought, oh shit, I'm completely out of position. So I'm certainly more higher in the men's games because of the aerial ball and the speed that they can run at. But my anticipation has to be good too, because if you anticipate early, you can get out and you can get up in time. So that would be the difference for me. It's also quite tricky in the circle in the men's games, purely from a height point of view. I'm not that tall, and these guys are big guys, and there's a lot of big bodies in the circle. So actually, I find that in the men's game, I have to step in, so off the baseline and into the pitch in the circle more to get that angle. Because in the women's game, I can see it. In the men's game, I can't. So I have to move into the pitch, if that makes sense. I hope I'm describing this quite clearly. But and in a high intensity game, I don't know that it changes too much. Maybe a little bit closer to play to help my colleague, especially if they've lost a video referral. That has a big difference. Or in a lower league game, if you don't have video, if the score is tight, you have to be there as a unit. You can't leave big distances between you. So just making sure that you're in the right place to look after the big decisions, which tend to be in your circle, really.
Exactly. So be on time in your circle. That's the main thing.
Absolutely, because I think coaches will forgive you if you miss a foot on the sideline or in the middle of the pitch that's like this. They will not forgive you if you miss a foot in the circle, and it's 1-1. So make sure you get the big ones right.
Yeah, and Ben, you want to add something?
Yes, the best advice or description I got for the positioning in your circle was from Rob Tenkart, because he told me you have to think about the circle is your house, and you give a birthday party and you have invite all people. So it's not a surprising party for you. You invite, so you have to open the door, and all players are your guests, and the ball is your present. So if you are not in their circle, it will be a surprising party, even if you have invite all people. And that was, I think it was 2013 when he told it me. And it's still in my head that I have to be the first guy in the circle when they have a counter attack or whatever into my circle. So
very nice. Well,
this picture I will never forget.
If I may, I will add also something on the positioning thing. Make sure, guys, that always, and this is something not for you, but for the people back home, of course. Make sure that the goal is always on your right side, and the ball on your left side. And if this is it, if this is something you do, and you keep in your mind that the ball always needs to be on your left side, and the goal on your right side, you're always on time. So, great tips, guys. Thank you so much. Some rules questions which was sent in. Does obstruction still exist, Sarah? Just short.
I'm terrible with the rules. Honestly, I just go with the gut feeling most of the time. Yes, obstruction still exists. I don't think we blow it as much as we probably should.
Okay, so still exists, and guys, and of course we all play. It doesn't matter which level we play with the same rules. Only the way that we apply them that changes per game. So yes, at our level, at the big level, obstructions still exist. Do we blow enough for it? I don't think so. Do we have to? Yeah, maybe. But maybe in the lower level, you really need to apply that rule maybe a bit stricter than at the higher level. So obstructions still exist for sure. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, the physical and mental game will come later. And Ben, the 3D skills, carrying the ball on the stick. What is your opinion on that one?
It's one of the most exciting playing hockey or way of playing hockey, I think, especially as an attacker in the D. If I look to our striker, Christopher Rear, he's fantastic in it. He can do things in the air with the ball, what I can't do when the ball is on the pitch. So no idea how it's possible. The only thing you have to keep in your mind as an umpire is you have to allow to defend in the air. Yeah. So if the ball is coming up, you have to allow the defender to take the ball from the stick. So I would say in 99% of contests there is stick contact, but that's different to a stick tackle or when you have to blow. So you have to allow the defender to take the ball from the stick in the air. So I think it's not possible without stick contact. Someone can do it, but not all players. But if two sticks meet, it's not always a whistle, a penalty corner, or whatever. It's just contact. It's not a foul. So that is the only thing what you have to keep in your mind.
Yeah, so exactly. So not every stick contact is a foul, eh? And so have a look at the intention, what the player wants to do. If he really wants to break down the attack and hits a stick, yeah, then it's the foul. Or when the attacker has got a stick tackle from behind or something, and he can't go any further, then becomes a foul. Because if we blow every time there's a stick contact, there's no game. So look, I really like what you said, Ben. Have a look at the intention, and not every stick contact is a foul. Really good one. For you, for the both of you, for the both of you, what do you think of physical play? And is there any difference between countries which are maybe more physical, yes or no, or how do you deal with it? And do you have any advice for the lower league umpires, Sarah?
I think this is probably one of the areas that is discussed the most, is the physicality and how much do we allow. And it is really difficult to answer that, I think, from the lower leagues right the way through to international hockey, because international hockey, they know what to expect, and it is a little bit more physical, and I think we probably allow that because they have the skill set that allows them to do that, if that makes sense. I think another thing is we're there to make the game safe, and if you allow too much physicality early on in a game, it's only going to end in disaster. So it's about setting the standard early and being really clear in your communication with what you're happy to accept and what you're absolutely not happy to accept, and communicate that with the players so that when it does start to escalate, then you can deal with it and you can manage it before it just goes off the chart, and then you're having to pull it back, and that's a really difficult place to find yourself in when you've gone too far.
Yeah, and Sarah, how do you set your standards early?
So talking to the players is something that is probably one of my strengths, my communication with the players. It doesn't need to be aggressive. In fact, it shouldn't be aggressive. It just needs to be a quick conversation. Hey guys, that's too much, or using your whistle tone, a louder whistle, so that not just the player, but the whole team, the whole crowd, the whole stadium knows exactly what that loud whistle is for. Your body language, your eye contact, your facial expressions, all these things are subtle messages to let players know. We don't need to go straight away, yellow card, this yellow card. I mean, it might be, depending on how bad the situation is, but players will really respect you for trying to keep them on the pitch where possible. Sometimes that's out with our control, but let's try and manage the game, and the players and coaches will really appreciate that.
And if you say that communication is an important role, important part of of that actually, setting your standards early so there are no surprises for the players and the coaches. What is your preferable way to communicate with the players before the game? So how do you engage with the coaching staff before the big games, and during the game? How do you do it?
So
what's the key?
I mean, at the end of the day, we're all people, aren't we? We're all human beings, and you know, I really like the interaction with players before a game. It's now that we know each other a lot better, it does become easier the more you umpire teams. This isn't just internationally, but this is any team. The more they see your face, they know you. You say hello, how are you? How was your weekend? It's these small conversations that go a long way, you know, and by being a person, having a conversation, they appreciate that. And then you'll find a shift in their behaviour a lot of the time when they recognise that you're just there, you're giving up your time to help and to umpire the game. And yeah, I think that helps with your communication on the pitch as well.
Yeah. And is there for you a difference between umpiring a men's and a ladies game in how to communicate with the teams?
I don't know. I mean, the women are certainly much better in recent years. I've noticed a big difference in the way that the women's teams interact with umpires. They've been more friendly, they've been more forthcoming, whereas in previous years, they wouldn't even look in your direction. Whereas now, actually, they're like, hi, Sarah, how are you? And there's more conversation. Oh, good, really good, you know, and that builds rapport, it builds respect, it builds trust, it builds relationships, which you can then carry onto the pitch. Whereas I've always been able to do that with the guys. And they're more open to conversation, especially after the game. Like, Sarah, come here, talk to me about this. Why was that a card? What was that all about? Whereas I didn't really have those conversations with the women up until the last maybe 3-4 years.
Yeah. So do you think that your effort by maybe starting the conversation with the girls, with the girls, they maybe think, hey, this might help us as well to communicate in a normal way with the umpire. Maybe we gain some 50-50 calls out of it in our favor. Do you think that your effort, and not only yours, but all the female umpires, has created that as well for yourself?
Without doubt. And the interaction that umpires have with coaches has made the coaches think, actually, okay, we need to change this. And so the coaches are on board. And again, we now have really good conversations with coaches. So it's one big cycle. And undoubtedly, I have got so far in my career and I've done so well because of my ability to communicate with players and coaches, for sure.
And Ben, for you, if you could give one or two advices for the club umpires who are listening right now, how do you deal with teams which you only see once a year because they come to the club and they think always that you're in favor of the home team? So in Holland we call it the thuisfluiter. So how can you deal with those teams to gain the trust straight away from those teams? So what's your advice on that one?
First of all, we have it in Germany as well. So I'm from a city. They have two clubs. I'm from the small one, and the big one is in the first league. And because a lot of umpires are blocked for that club, so I have to umpire them. If you know that people are thinking that you are a home umpire, don't give them anything that they think, oh, yeah, it's true. So if you come to the pitch, talk to both coaches, not just to the one you know them very well. Take the same time for the other one. even if you don't have that connection, because it's normal that if you know someone for 10 years or whatever, or you see them every week, it's normal that you have a different relationship to someone who's just coming for one away match, but take the same time. And same way, be friendly, kind, and especially if you know one team very well, so you can say every name maybe. It's Kuhn, Morris, whatever, and then it's number 9, it's number 8 or whatever. So if you don't want to learn 18 names of the other team, then please use numbers of both teams. But it's not only in lower league; it's in international matches as well. If you do not can pronounce a proper name of, I don't know, China, Japan, or whatever, you use the numbers. But it's totally unfair if I'm umpiring then Belgium or Netherlands and I know the names and can spell it. So I will go back to numbers as well, that they don't have the feeling I'm in favor of Netherlands when I'm umpiring against Korea or Japan. So that are small tricks or things you can use, that you say, hey guys, it's all equal. Or if you have teams, maybe you umpire under 16, under 18 or whatever, France against Netherlands, don't talk to them in Dutch. Use English for everybody, that everybody can understand what you are talking to a player, even if the opponent is standing next to you. It's not fair. Even if they ask you in Dutch, hey, what have you blown or whatever, try to answer always in English. That is what I'm doing if I have to umpire test matches of Germany. I tell all the guys before the match, hey, I will talk to you only in English. Even if you ask me in German, I will answer in English, that the opponent has a feeling, okay, I can always understand what Ben is saying to his own to his home team, because I don't want to have an advantage for them. Yeah, so that is what you have to keep in your mind.
And there's a question in the chat. So he or she, I don't know, is saying that, but sometimes it helps just to call the name. Is that something? So if you know one team by name and the other you don't know, and you have a private conversation, do you still use the numbers, or then you can use the name, right?
Yeah. So if I have a private conversation, I have to take number 9, come please to me, and then I know the name. I say, yeah, please don't do it again. And of course I use a name because it's more personal. So I bring it very early to a personal level, that the guy has the feeling, okay, it's not against me or whatever, and it's not umpire versus player. It's Ben and me, and we have so it feel like for him, for the player, it's a little bit harder to be aggressive against me. So if you bring it on a personal level, so that is why what I tell young umpires: if you start a game, or if you come to a club and you never umpired this coach or whatever, go to him and say, hello, I'm Ben, hello, I'm Sarah, hello, I'm Kuhn. Because if he knows your name and he knows you, it's not you in a yellow shirt and a black trousers and you are umpire. I can, I don't know, complain everything, because if he knows your name, it's straight away a little bit personally, and he had a little bit, yeah, how can I say, it feels a little bit uncomfortable to show to you if he knows your name. Yeah,
exactly.
So
exactly.
And that is why I go before every match to both captains, to both coaches, and say hello, have a good match, whatever. And that is what I do the first time when I go to the pitch. I take the match sheet and ask for the captains, and I'm learning the names. I'm not learning numbers, number 9 captain or whatever. No, I have only on my card the name, that I can talk to the captain with a name.
Yeah. Oh, really good. Thank you. And Sarah, just to ask your experience maybe from Scotland as well, and I'm sure that this also is something for Germany, but so how do you deal with well, negative feedback or I don't want to use the word abuse, but by the people, the coaches and the crowds. How is there something that you know at club level in Scotland? How you guys deal with that over there?
Yeah, so I maybe don't get that quite so much now because it's obviously a smaller nation. There's not that many teams. The level of hockey isn't brilliant, and I know everyone fairly well. But there was a time where I was getting abuse, and I was driving home thinking, why on earth am I doing this? And I think everybody on this webinar has probably at some point questioned why they're doing it, or they've walked off a game and thought, nah, I'm not doing that again, that was horrible, or they've maybe had a couple of nights where they've not slept particularly well and they're thinking about it for a few days, and it's not a very nice feeling. It's not a very nice place to be, which is why we need to try and work hard to stamp it out at the time and not just let it happen and leave it and let it go on and go on. We don't have technical officials at any of our matches in Scotland. It's just the 2 umpires. I know some nations have technical officials. They're very lucky. But yeah, just 2 umpires. So if a coach is shouting at me or giving it a lot of chat, I have no problem. And I would do this at international level as well. If the TO wasn't doing their job, I would stop time and go over and speak to them. And it makes a real point. You've stopped the game. Everybody can see that you're going over to the coach to speak to them. And just say, listen, I'm not prepared to listen to how you're speaking to me. What we're going to trial in Scotland is if the coach is abusing you, go and speak to them. If it continues, you can yellow card one of the players, and they'll have the 5-minute yellow card for the coach. But you're within your rights to send the coach off as well if it's been that bad.
Yeah, and what is your advice for the club umpire who's just starting? So in Holland it might be a girl 15 or 16-year-old. What is your golden advice to go over to a coach who is maybe the same age as his or her father, to speak with to them? So what is your golden advice to do that actually? Because that's it sometimes is a problem in Holland, and especially on lower leagues, that the club umpires who are just starting their umpiring and maybe umpire once or twice a year, they get abused from the crowds, from the coach, from the coaches. What is your golden advice in that one?
Yeah, I mean that is a really difficult situation. I think I've been lucky because I've always been brave enough to just call them out and speak to them, even if it's someone in the crowd. Potentially speaking to the captain before the game, the captain, the coaches, to say, listen, we want you to play to the whistle. We might not get everything right, but we don't want, any abuse. And if there is, then someone will be sitting down, whether it's a green, whether it's a yellow, whatever it is. But maybe it might help before the game to communicate your intention, an expectation of both player and coach behaviour.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
that might help. If it's happening during a game, I mean, maybe don't take the bench side until they're a bit more confident. If they're with a more experienced umpire who's able to deal with the benches, speak to your colleague, ask them for help potentially. Yeah, I'm not sure whether that helps much.
No. So, but to start with, not taking the bench side, that will help, and and also draw a line and make clear, I think, to everybody, what is your line. If you cross it, what happens. Yeah. And I know it's a big step for club umpires, to draw the line and also to say, this is my line. If you cross it, I do. These are the consequences.
Yeah.
And also, I think, my own experience in this one is that the club umpires, they need to know what they can do, what if those things happen, and if they don't know where to go if these kind of things happen, so they don't feel the support from the club. And if you feel as a starting umpire, as a starting club umpire, that you're even supported by the club, that will help you, and that will give you some strength. So as a club, so this is actually a message to everybody who's listening in. Make sure that all the club umpires know what they can do and where they can go if abuse is happening by the coach. And of course, I hope that will never happen, and I hope that somebody from the club is there straight away to deal with it, because we can't expect from a girl who's just starting to umpire, 15 years old, to speak to a coach who is maybe 60 years old, and abusing her and abusing the umpire. So deal with it as a club and give the umpire support. That's most of the times that will help.
Yeah, just on that, if you find yourself umpiring with someone like a 15-year-old girl in that situation, protect her, protect your colleague as well. And if after the game you can see that your colleague is standing at the halfway line and the coach is over at them, giving it this, go over and intervene. You don't need to have a conversation. You're well within your rights to say, we're not discussing this at the moment, and move your colleague away from the situation, and give everybody breathing space. That's something that I learned early on, was don't leave your colleague in trouble, in danger. You're a team. You start as a team, you finish as a team. So look after each other as well.
Yeah, really good.
What I can say to these umpires: use the captain. Make your problem them problem. Because if you tell so first of all, the captain is responsible for the behavior of his team, and that includes the bench and the coach. So stop time, take the captain of the team and tell him, sorry, your coach is crossing my line. Tell him, stop it. Otherwise, I have to send him off, to send him home. I have no idea what you can do in your country. We can card the coach in Germany. So that is a brilliant tactic, because if the coach get a card, they have to play with one player less. But if they're a coach, I don't want to talk to him. I use the captain and say, it's your job now to tell him he fucked me up. So next time I stop the time and I deal it, but without words. It's just a card. So it's your choice if you want to play 11 versus 11, or if you want to play with less players. So that happened, and it helps, because the coach and the captain, they have a connection. They will never abuse themselves. Sometimes they do it because the coach is not happy about playing or whatever, but that's not my problem. But you don't have to interact with the coach, only with the captain. And probably if you are 15 years old, you are umpiring players 12, 14, 15 years old, I don't know. So that's an equal stage. And you don't have to talk with someone who can maybe your father, your grandfather or whatever, or teacher, I don't know. So if you're in a situation like this, stop time, use the captain, let them do their job, and you are out of the situation, and you don't have to interact with them.
Okay. Thank you guys for this advice. And now maybe a bit more positive question, or more. Well, and I know this is something that are sorry. So the subject is from every game, so this is something that everybody experiences. So we need to address it. But now it's time for a bit more positive question. And Ben, for you, which player in the international level you think will make a great umpire?
So Sarah starts on me.
No, you, Ben, sorry.
Me. Yeah, the good thing is we can tell it because we are it's a secret group now. So you sent the question earlier. So you sent the question earlier. I had time to think about. There is one guy, actually. I would love to see him as an umpire. He's from Belgium. He's striker, Florent van Eubel, because he had a great behavior to players in the team, to opponents, and the umpire. I've never seen him shouting to someone, even if it was not a good decision. He has a big sense of what the play is going on. And if he's coming to me as an umpire, showing the T, I know I'm in big trouble. So he had an absolutely great rule knowledge and a great eye that someone happens. So I think this guy with a whistle on the sideline would be a great umpire.
Well, Ben, do I have a surprise for you? Florent, can you please join? No, actually that's true. It's it's not the first player that I would think of, but yeah, that's a good one. Good one. Well done. So Florent, we will call Florent later on and to give this advice. So if he stops after Paris, give him a whistle. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, I would step straight away with him as a team on pitch, and no problems.
Okay. Well, Sarah, for you.
There's really not many players that I would consider saying are good umpires. Do you know, one person I have a really a lot of good conversations with, and I know there are a couple of German people on this call, but Charlotte Stappenhorst and I have a really good relationship, and she's funny. She is really cool. She's got good empathy, and she's an unbelievable player. And the way that she reads the game is insane. She's incredible. And much like what Ben said about Van Obel, if she shows you a T, then you think, yeah, she's probably right here. But yeah, I would never ever tell her that. Ever. I would never tell her that. But I think she might make an all right umpire.
And this is mainly for the Dutch umpires. Is there any Dutch player you think, well, that's the next international umpire?
No. Do you know, they all pretty much have a good knowledge of the rules, but they like to think they have a good knowledge of the rules and they'd be good umpires. But I'm not sure. Maybe Felice Albers. I like Felice. I'll go with Felice.
You know, Felice being a striker, I don't think she will ever blow her whistle. Just play on. Just play on.
Oh, let you know about it. Why are you giving a corner? Just play advantage.
Exactly, play. And Ben, for you? Any Dutch player?
I have to say the same as Sarah.
Sorry,
I don't think so. But
next
if
question.
I have to pick one, I would always take the goalkeeper Maurice Visser, because goalies have they see the match with different eyes, so they can anticipate. I would say at its best, because they always know where the ball is going. So yeah, I would take him.
No, and agree. So it's proven that most umpires are also goalies, because they have the overview, they have the calmness. So yeah,
correct.
Okay. Maurits Visser, your friend during the infamous video call. Let's slowly go that way to the final video call of the final. Is there anything you want to share before or with us before we go into detail about that video call? Sarah, and of course you were the disengaged umpire. Maybe it's a good thing to start with you. So how did you experience that from the other side of the stadium, of the pitch, actually?
Well, I was maybe disengaged from the video call, but I was not disengaged from the England players that were surrounding me at the halfway line. I was very much engaged. I think before anything is said, I think if I take myself out of it here, I think Ben and Ali did a remarkable, amazing job during that video call, because for Ben, I'm giving you a big head here, Ben, so watch out. But for Ben to have that presence of mind, in such a high pressured situation was incredible. And there are a lot of umpires who would have taken the original decision and gone with it. But what Ben did was he panicked slowly, and he actually was able to deal with that situation incredibly well to then get to the right outcome. And yeah, I think both Ben and Ali really deserve a lot of credit for how they dealt with that whole really challenging situation.
Okay. And Ben, for you, and I know you gave the interview already on hockey.nl, but maybe not everybody read it. So can you take us through the whole process? And Sarah, if you want to add how you experienced the final call from the other side of the pitch, and what what you did actually to make the team effort, because it's not only Ben there on the pitch, it's also you managing the other players. So I think it's in the end is a team effort. But if you want to help Ben getting to a final answer again, please do so. But Ben, take it away.
No, yeah, as I said in the interview, so first of all, yeah, we saw it. It was a crowd circle, a stick tackle from the Dutch guy on the striker. That is what I saw, and then yeah, shot on goal, and it was a goal. So on the shot on goal, straight away, I can't remember which one was a tall defender. Went straight up with a hand that someone was not right, and that was the guy who got hit by the ball. So my learning point from that one is, when I gave the goal, you can go away from the circle, but never turn around the back to the guy where it was happened. So so I think the problem would be solved if I go backwards with an open view, that I could see straight away the guys were discussing, we want to go for video because it hit me above the knee, and then it wouldn't take so long. So that is the first learning point from this situation for me. The second one is, yeah, the process said it has to be immediately, but I think it was immediately in my back. And that is what I checked with Sarah and with and afterwards with Ali in the box. So she said it was 13 seconds and standing in front of me, telling me the question or saying we want to go. But I think it was immediately, because I haven't seen it, because I turned around and went away from the circle, from the spot where it happened. So yeah, and then I think and especially in a final, especially on a Olympic ticket match, I think it's good enough, or it's good that we have the video advice in this situation, and we went for it. And we have to say, in the video in the stands were outstanding on the video wall. So that was a absolutely amazing quality, so that we can watch it on the standing on the field. And if I go a few years back, I had a similar situation in Canada, with Ireland, when I wasn't watching the screen. So and that was my learning point 4 years ago, or 5 years ago. So in this situation, I said, okay, I will have a look what happened there, because first of all, I have seen the stick check for possible stroke. Haven't seen what happened afterwards. I want to see why they were complaining. And I had in Tokyo in the gold medal match the last video call, and I could straight away think how Ellie will feel. So, and the good thing in Tokyo was there was no camera on me, so no one knows what I was doing in the video box, and I'm absolutely happy that no one knows until today. So I can imagine what the heartbeat is going, the heart rate is rising up. You know, everybody's watching, and now a call like this is coming, and so. And to be fair, I have to say we are a team of 4 umpires in this final. It's the both pitch umpire, Sarah and me. It's the reserve umpire and the video umpire. And if we can take the right decision together, it's better than we take not the right decision, but maybe the absolutely correct process. But everybody will after the final, they will say, yeah, you fucked it up. Now they can say you fucked the process up. It could be better, and I totally agree. Could be quicker, could be better. But at the end, I think the right outcome was done, and that is for me a little bit more important than that we are strict to the protocol.
Yes, and Ben, if just a question, you know, if you said that the heartbeat of Ellie, as you know it yourself in the Olympic final, as a video umpire, was, well, sky high. How was your heartbeat on the pitch?
It was the same, but as Sarah said, I panicked slowly. So I was not, I didn't lose focus. I tried to keep myself calm. And I think if you looked from outside, it looked like, yeah, you're just going for shopping or whatever. So it doesn't look like that I'm nervous. And then if you have a protocol in your head, so what's going on? Stick check first, high ball, goal. Is it an advantage because of the stick check the ball is high, or is it because just he played it high, whatever? And if you go like this, point from point to point, and then you're a little bit focused on breathing, that you can calm down. So that helps me, that my heartbeat is not like a hammer in my mind, and I'm losing focus. So yeah, but that is what I've learned years before, and not in this situation.
No. So for example, if you go back to, and you just can answer by yes or no, or just add something. If you would say, as a club umpire, we're always focused, yeah, but it's my decision. I think, you know, this is a perfect example, yeah, but to use everybody in the team to get to the correct decision.
Yeah.
So, and of course you say, it is not that I learned it 2 minutes before. It's of course a long journey to get, and of course it came all together in that situation that, okay, but if this happens, then this is also, and this and this and this. So if as a club umpire is happening, for example, with a penalty corner in the final minute, what is your advice to them?
So first of all, never forget your colleague. You always can check it. Even if you think you're right, you always can check it, make it bigger than it is maybe. If you ask, just, do you confirm? Yes, thank you very much. So 4 eyes have seen the penalty corner. Both umpires are on it. And you made it for the team, yeah, obvious, because of course they will ask, or they will say, please ask your colleague, go over, talk to him, whatever. So there is no problem to say, okay, the time stops because of the penalty corner. It's maybe last minute or 2 minutes ago. I don't know, 2-1 or 0-0. Go over, and or if you have radios, but make it obvious for everybody, not as a secret. So, Sarah, have you seen the foot? Do you confirm the stroke or whatever? And then, yes, I am with you. Or maybe she's saying, no, let's talk about what you've seen. Then I will let you know what I've seen, and then we can find a solution. Yeah. And yeah, I think the teams will be happy, even if it stays the penalty corner. You've everything done what they want to do, even if the outcome is not what they want. But you can always say, guys, listen, I've asked my colleague, she confirms me, he confirms me, who's your colleague. And so now it's a penalty corner. So now we go back to business, stay focused on defending. I'm doing my job, you doing your job.
All right. And just a question from the chat as well. And I'm going to answer it with yes. Is there a referee obliged to follow the decision of the video ref? Is there a difference between I have a decision for you or I have an advice for you? Well, that has been changed. Previously it was I have a decision for you, and still the on-field umpire is responsible for the outcome for the decision on the pitch. So this year, after the World Cup, it has been changed to I have an advice for you. So you can always, so it makes more clear for everybody that the final decision is with the on-field umpire. So we're not obliged to follow the advice from the video ref, as Ben experienced a couple of times already.
Just once.
Nah, Eindhoven.
Yeah.
All right. And Ben as well. Harry is asking, was it noted on the pitch that the video umpire said after the second stroke at least 1 foot was on the line?
So the answer was there's no clear reason to change. So that was every information what I got, what I can remember. So I haven't heard anything else.
All right. Well, apparently, so there's no clear reason. And then she added, yeah, at least 1 foot is on the line. So that's so if for example, if you would heard it like, okay, there's no clear reason to change the decision, there was at least 1 foot on the line, would you overturn that the call again then, in hindsight?
I wouldn't overturn, because on this one it's maybe millimeters, centimeters, or whatever, and then and for this one I would say if it's not that clear that you can see a big gap between foot and line, I think on the TV screen in the video box it's a little bit clearer than standing downstairs on the pitch watching up to the video wall. So if it's really clear and I would see it and I would hear it, maybe I would ask again, can you check if both feet on the line or just one? But I think in this situation, if the video umpire has a clear view, was it on or not on the line? And we have to say the video room has two screens. So not every angle what is shown to the video umpire was on the wall, because there was just one screen. And that's why I took, okay, there's no clear reason to change. And then I was never thinking about to rechange or whatever.
Okay. There's another question coming in for you, Ben. Your initial request to the video ref was different than your request later. Initially, your request was only about the danger, the high ball, and if Netherlands did it request in time. After confirmation it was on time, you added the stick tackle to the request. What happened, and did you change the request? And is it allowed to divert the request of the team, because it was the video referral of the team and not it was not the umpire referral?
So the team asked for danger, so that was the first one I give away, or I sent it up. I said, can you have a look for danger? And then came the answer back, yeah, it was danger. And that's a perfect example for losing focus on the whole picture, because you're looking, you heard danger, and then that's a big monkey, and you are looking for the monkey, and you found the monkey, and you forget everything else so that the curtain color can change, someone is leading the pitch or whatever. So, and I had it always in my mind, there was a stick tackle before. We never should lose it in our mind or in our decision making. And that's why I add after this confirm of danger, that I said, yeah, I agree with the danger, but straight away before, is there any reason to give a stroke because of the stick tackle? And I think that was so important to add and not to leave it. And when I was video for the first time, I had a couple of calls when it was backstick, foot or whatever. And I was so focused, saw it, bring it back, yeah, backstick. And then in the in the debrief, I saw the footage. Yeah, it was a foot, but have a look. How was the ball played with the backstick? Oh yeah, shit, missed it because I was so focused on the foot. I was so nervous, and that is what we shouldn't do. And not losing the whole picture. And to the whole picture, there was a stick tackle, and it was not 10 minutes before or whatever. It was straight before the high ball. So it is in the picture, and that is why I added even the Dutch question was just for the danger. Because, of course, they are not taking the whole picture. They are taking their picture, what is important for them. But I'm important for everybody, for the whole situation, for the hockey game, and not just for the danger.
And Sarah, you're on the other side of the pitch. How did you manage the players who are asking you questions as well during the whole?
Yeah, it was really difficult because part of me is trying to calm them down and explain to them what's happening. But at the same time, Ben's trying to communicate with Ali, and everything I say and they say goes through our radios, which goes in his ear and Ali's ear. And in a moment like that, what they need is absolute mental clarity and not me trying to calm players down. So it was a really difficult situation. So I ended up taking my mic off and putting it under my arm because they were...
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they were so... But also, these guys have got to their first European final in however long. If they win this game, yeah, they go to Paris like that. And they win a European Championships and they beat the Dutch men. All these things for them is huge. They come from 2-0 down. They'd taken their goalkeeper off. Brendan Creed had that unbelievable save. They managed to bring it back to 2-2. And then all of a sudden, they feel frustrated because of this video referral and they feel it's been too long and it's not immediate. So they're angry and they're frustrated. And the last thing I want to do is go away, don't talk to me. Because, you know, they're rightfully frustrated. And so I was trying to explain to them, look, he's taken the call and, you know, explain that, but at the same time, trying to be quiet for them. So it was, I basically ended up saying, look, guys, I will explain this to you in a second. I will explain. Please just let this go through. But
and then taking all the time that is needed to explain them what is happening and keep them on board actually instead of throwing them away.
Exactly. If I told them to go away, it would have escalated everything because all they wanted to know was why. Why is it being allowed to happen? What are they referring? And panic that actually we might lose this goal.
Yeah,
we might lose this goal. But fortunately, the captain, Amesy, once he understood, he was able to then take his players away, which was helpful. But then they came back again because originally the decision given was no clear reason to change. Now they're watching the screen and they can see those words coming out of Ali's mouth. They can see that on the screen. So they're celebrating because they think, whew, we've kept the goal. And then Ben's gone back up again and said, yeah, but can we just have a look at the stick tackle? And Ali's gone, yeah, okay. So we need to look at that. So then they're going, wait a minute, what's happening now? She said no. I said, yes, but they're checking the stick tackle. So then the stick tackle came back down. Yeah, there was a stick tackle. Yeah, but was it before or after the lifted ball? It was before. I'll just have a look at that. So we're looking again. Okay, yeah, we'll give a penalty corner. Well, it's not going to be a penalty corner, is it? It's going to be a penalty stroke. And that was Ben that came back down with that, which a lot of umpires would have just said, okay, you know, but Ben's going, well, exactly. Hang on, it's going to be a stroke. Yeah, it's a penalty stroke. Right, cool. So we go to penalty stroke. Then the first one's taken. It's a retake. So this is not a simple video referral. And at this point, Alison in the box is like, and, you know, the last thing she wants is another referral to come up. And what happened? They referred it. And the goalkeeper did move early. And I think her talking in the second one about 1 foot on his line, she should have stopped talking. No clear reason to change your decision. Done. Don't make a bigger picture out of it. But yeah, that was challenging. And then that continued after the game for quite some time. Clear frustration.
Yeah, and is there anything, Sarah and Ben, is there anything you would do differently next time?
I'm going to leave that to you to answer, Ben, because you kind of had to deal with most of it. I wouldn't have changed anything. I'm happy with how I dealt with it. I couldn't have helped Ben more in my situation, but I'll let Ben answer from his point of view.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I would, if I have the feeling something is not right and someone is taking his arm up before the ball crosses the line, I would keep this in my mind, and when I give the goal, I would be focused on that one, on that guy, what he's doing. Was it just complaining because it was like football players just raise the arm, or is he straight away going to his teammates confirming, have you seen hitting me, yes or no? Then I will go for the video, so that if I leave the situation maybe a little bit backwards because someone is celebrating in front of me and I want to avoid the crowding. But if I want to go backwards, I would have a look, an open view, not turning the back, that someone is running from behind and saying, hey, I want video, and you can't see it. Maybe you heard, not really clear enough to turn around. So I think in this case, I would change it. Otherwise, I think then it would be a little bit clearer, especially for England, that it was immediately and not like 13, 14 seconds late. What they think it's not legal. If you see it straight away, I think it's more clear because I'm more online to say, okay, something is coming up, and not like a surprise. Oh, you want to go for video? Oh, I haven't seen it. Sorry. So I think that would avoid a messy situation like this. Yeah.
Okay. And Sarah, anything to add for your takeaway from this final or the Euros?
No, I absolutely loved it. I loved it so much. I thought it was such a great event. And I mean, I umpired women's and men's. I did actually 4 matches, 3 men's and 1 women's game. And that can be quite tricky to go between the genders of matches because you can't always build the momentum that you normally build. But also important to acknowledge that in the Europeans, you've got your really strong teams, but you've also got teams that are not as strong. And so the score lines can be greater. And you sometimes find that in your lower leagues. So things like maintaining concentration and focus when you maybe don't have that much to do is a skill. Yeah, that's probably my takeaways.
And you umpiring in many finals. How special was this one?
yeah, incredibly special. Yeah, it's been, yeah, I've done, you know, like Olympic final, World Cup final. I think I've done every major final that there is, but this one was particularly special because I think, and again, it comes down to the gender thing. Being the first woman to be able to do something like that was really special, and hopefully paved the way for many others to do the same. But a big challenge, a challenge that I was really nervous about and not as confident as I normally am. But yeah, it just was such a great game, and umpiring with you in the semi, Ben in the final was amazing because we've never done it before. And it was so good, and it was such a good connection, and it was easy, and I just loved it.
No, and this is to you, Sarah. You know, I think you showed not only the players but the whole world, and luckily we knew it already, but that you're a pretty good umpire, eh? And I think you deserved it more than anyone to be in that final, actually. So congrats on that achievement, and hopefully many more to come for you. Ben, is there anything that you will take away from this Europeans or the finals?
Yeah, from the final, I would say I would umpire every game with Sarah again. It doesn't matter which teams are playing. So of course, Koen, you are my best buddy on the pitch, so don't worry about that one. But Sarah is really close to you. But I think because you umpired a game before, so
Yeah, I know.
Now, as I said to Sarah after the final, it doesn't feel like that we have the first game together. It was absolutely awesome, and I love it. We had a big long break in the final because of the weather conditions there. Don't forget it. So there was also a big challenge that you keep in the game, and you don't forget that you have played a halftime. So yeah, and from the whole tournament, it's not a bad thing to have a tournament in your country. It's but for the home umpire, it's a little bit more busy because you are a local one. So you are not the leader of the group, but you are the guy everybody's coming to you to asking for Taylor because your shirt is too small or something like that. Huh? So now you have to arrange a little bit more than as a visitor in a different country or whatever. So, but you don't have to be afraid of it. You have to make a plan before the tournament starts, that you have to take your time for your rest, that you don't have to do everything, especially not in every time when you need your rest or you have your preparation for the games or whatever. But you don't have to be afraid that everybody will disturb you or the interaction will disturb your preparation, your pre-match talk or whatever. So that is what I've learned from this tournament. Not sure I will have a tournament in Germany again, a big one. I don't know. But if it's coming, if it's happened, I'm not afraid of it. So, but that's the same for young club umpires, or for if you go to the first league in your country. If you have a big game, maybe in your city, not in your club, but in your city, so everybody will know you. Don't be afraid of it. Don't feel pressure. Enjoy it. That is what I can say.
So that's also your advice to the club umpires who are listening. Enjoy.
Yeah, always. That is what we are doing. Huh? So we don't do it for money. We don't do it for abusing or whatever. We do it because we love it. We love the sport. We love to be part of the sport. And if we can create flow of the game, great advantage goals, 3D kills or whatever without danger. That is what our aim is. And if we are successful, it's like a striker who scored in the under the bar or whatever. So yeah, enjoy it. Every minute what you are doing.
And Sarah, in one sentence, what is your final advice for the club umpires who are listening?
I also agree that you have to enjoy it, because otherwise you give up so much time and you sacrifice family time, weddings, birthdays, all these things. It has to be worthwhile and you have to enjoy it. Don't be too hard on yourself. I'm very bad for that, being very self-critical. Be yourself. You have to have your own little personality. You're not a robot. And yeah, just be prepared to listen to feedback, put it into practice, take each game as it comes, and yeah, we'll continue to do better.
Yeah, and Sarah, there's a personal question for you. How do you manage it with your work and umpiring? How's the balance?
Yeah, it's not easy. It is not easy. I also have a 1-year-old son. And for anyone that has children will understand the demands that they are, how wonderful they are, but wow, they're exhausting. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. But if you've got a supportive partner, husband, wife, that makes a huge difference. Sometimes I need to get up and do my training before school in the morning, so 7 a.m. Then shower, then at my desk for 8:15. Yeah, it's a difficult balance, but you need to try and be organised and prioritise your week. That's what I try and do, like on a Sunday, is prepare my meals, organise my week at work. When am I training? What am I doing? But if you really want to succeed, you'll find a way of doing it.
And always get the right balance. That's
yeah, and also, you know, whilst we love what we do, it's not a job. It's a hobby. It's a passion. It doesn't pay the bills. So it's, you know, when I had my son, he was the biggest thing that put life into perspective for me. You know. So.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for this. The last words of wisdom, Sarah. As always. And thank you for joining us tonight, Ben and Sarah. And in Holland every year we have the week of the umpire, which is over the whole of Holland, organized by the National Olympic Committee, where we celebrate the umpires in any sport, and also of course in hockey. And this week, last weekend, it started, and this week it will go on. And hopefully next weekend, next weekend, all the teams are thanking and celebrating the umpire. And I know many of you got a lot of chocolate, bottles of wine, bottles of beers. Please enjoy this intention, because you guys earn and deserve it as well. Again, Ben and Sarah, thank you for having. Thank you for being here, and hopefully we see each other soon. Now I'm gonna close up in Dutch, so if you don't mind, please stick around for one more minute. And I know that your Dutch is not that good, but hopefully you understand a bit of it. Ja, iedereen hartelijk bedankt voor het kijken. Geweldig dat jullie zo bij waren. Goede vragen gesteld. Ook vooraf mooie vragen ingestuurd. Nogmaals, dank jullie wel dat jullie er vanavond bij waren. We hopen natuurlijk dat het een mooie sessie is geweest voor jullie. Leerzaam ook vooral. Ik heb in ieder geval weer mooie dingen gehoord die ik weer heb opgeschreven. Die ik ook weer mee ga nemen. Dus blijf het ook doen. Blijf ook investeren in de scheidsrechters op de club. En ja, share the passion, as Sarah said, you know. En blijf iedereen inspireren, ook op de club. En dan weet ik zeker dat het helemaal goed komt. mocht u nog vragen hebben over deze webinar of aan Ben of aan Sarah, kan altijd sturen naar arbitrage@knb.nl. En dan zullen we ervoor zorgen dat de vragen zo goed mogelijk worden beantwoord. Voor nu heel veel plezier nog vanavond. Maak je niet te laat, zou ik zeggen. En heel veel plezier op de velden dit komend weekend. En hou de socials van Team Fluit in de gaten voor wat er allemaal nog komen gaat. En voor nu wens ik u nog een hele fijne avond en tot snel. Thanks Ben en Sarah. Thank you so much. See ya.